You tuned in to Just Vibe with Melody. Hey fam, I know that it has been quite some time since I've done a video, but there has been so much going on behind the scenes and I cannot wait to catch y'all all up to speed. But on to today's video. President Ibrahim Traoré has done it again. Let's get into this story right now. I recently came across a story that President Ibrahim Traoré has granted visa-free access to Burkina Faso. And upon doing my very own research, I was able to dig deep and find out exactly what was going on and if this was in fact the truth. And I am here to let you all know that it is indeed the truth. However, it's not necessarily visa-free. You still do have to go through the traditional visa process, but you're able to have the visa fee waived if you live in one of the African countries. President Ibrahim Traoré has launched this new visa fee waiver as an effort to promote free travel for Africans from country to country without borders. And how long have we been talking about wishing that we had a borderless Africa? But guess what? He is in full swing with making this an actual possibility. But he's not the first one because as we know, Kenya has implemented this long ago. And at one point, Kenya was even visa-free altogether. You didn't even need a visa to get into Kenya. But I think when Trump started doing all the foolishness that he had going on in America, Kenya decided to change its tactics and reinstate the visa process. But I absolutely love the fact that President Ibrahim Traoré has taken this initiative to waive the visa fee. I mean, I know you still have to go through the process, but I'm sure it will be a lot smoother if you can prove that you're coming from another African country. This is something that we should have had a long time ago. I've been very vocal here on the channel concerning this very topic of just having free travel. Why should we have to have visa to go from African country to African country? To me, it's pointless. And I always say that Black people everywhere should never have to go through these jumps and hoops in order to come back to Africa, especially those in the diaspora. So while I'm absolutely thrilled that President Ibrahim Traoré has waived the visa process for other African countries, I'm just sitting back wishing and hoping that he would open this up, or not even just necessarily him, but any president, any other African president out there would completely open up visa travel for Africans in the diaspora. Because what about us? What about the ones that is in the diaspora and are wishing to return home to one African country or another? The red tape associated with us coming back sometimes is just so tedious, and it almost makes you want to lose out hope. Like, should I be returning home? Is this really for me? Because if I have to go through all of this, then I might as well just stay where I am. And the time is now. The time is now for Africans in the diaspora to start coming home in droves. So I hope that by President Ibrahim Traoré taking this initiative to waive the visa fee for other African countries, that other countries will look to this and consider us in the diaspora as well, and not just those who are native born to Africa. But either way it goes, this is a huge stride and step forward in the right direction to start uniting us everywhere. That is a vision that Kwame Nkrumah had, and one that he was working so hard at seeing come to fruition. Unfortunately, he didn't live to see the day that Africa was completely liberated as a whole, but I hope that we can all kind of pick up that slack and make his vision a reality. We have been through so much as a people, and it's up to us to start coming together and building up Africa and making life in Africa what it should have been a long time ago. But as history would have it, we were invaded and so many things transpired as a result of that invasion. And we're still dealing with the aftermath of that all of these centuries later. So it's time that we begin to rise, and it's time that we start returning home. But we can't do it alone. Just like Africa can't be built up alone, it's going to take collective joint effort to see that reality. And it starts not only with us, but it also starts with those leaders that are in charge to start thinking about people in the diaspora, to start implementing strategies that is going to help us relocate here to Africa without having to go through all of the foolishness. Like, for example, I feel like as long as you're Black, I don't care where you are on the face of the earth, you should be able to return to Africa without having to go through all of the foolishness that we all know we are subjected to, such as getting a visa and all of the other unnecessary processes that they try to put us through. And there is a lot of us that is waking up to the reality that, hold up, wait a minute, it is time to return home. And we are waking up in a mass amount of numbers. So if things don't start shifting and things don't start changing that is going to be able to accommodate our return, then how can this be a smooth process, not just for us, but for everyone involved? Because we also have to move back to these various countries and learn the culture all over again. Depending on where you're going, you have to relearn that culture. We've been stripped of a lot. I don't think maybe that's necessarily thought out or really realized from these leaders that are in these various countries of just how much trauma that we have endured being raised our whole lives, generations outside of Africa. We went through a lot of trauma, a lot of baggage, a lot of suffering, and we are looking for some form of peace and stability. We're not desiring to return to Africa and have to continue to fight in our own country, fight for our own right to be here when it was never up to us whether we would stay or go. Our ancestors were ripped from this land. Our ancestors were taken off to various parts of the world. And so now that we are waking up and wanting to come back and return to Africa, the process should be as smooth as slicing butter. And in my opinion, I feel like we shouldn't have to go through a visa process. If we decide we want to go to Africa, we should be able to pick a country and go settle there, because at the end of the day, there is no DNA test that can say you came from here specifically or you came from there specifically. I mean, they try to do a good enough job and they try to scientifically make it seem like it's all good, right? But only you know. The DNA that runs through your blood tells you where you're from and where you belong. And when you return back to Africa, whatever country you go to, you feel that sense of peace and stability and equality, and it makes you crave that place. That is the inner knowing that, you know what, somewhere, somehow, along the lines of my DNA, my ancestors connected to this environment that I am in. Your DNA knows better than anybody of whether you should relocate to that particular area or not. So as long as you're Black and you decide that you want to return to Africa and a place resonates with you, then you should be able to settle there, no questions asked. I just can't even understand why we still have to go through as much as we have to go through in order to gain citizenship back to a place that we was taken from. To me, it's just diabolical. I can only hope and pray that things will get better and better for us as time goes. And we have to start somewhere, right? So I am so glad that President Ibrahim Traoré has taken this initiative to at least put a step forward to do something. We have a lot of higher ups that are just sitting around and doing absolutely nothing. So I commend his efforts, and I'm just so grateful that he has taken this initiative to waive the visa fee and allow Africans to now move freely into Burkina Faso. I've been closely following Burkina Faso, and I am always eager to come and report all of the milestones and the accomplishments that they are making. To me, they're setting a standard for Africa, and every other leader better start getting with the program. To wake up united amongst each other is a feeling that is going to be so beautiful when it's actually accomplished. And I can't wait to see that day, because I know it's coming. And I know that it is coming very, very soon. That is it for today's video. I thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, if you have a comment, please take the time and drop it down below. If this is your first time visiting here on the channel, let me take the opportunity to say welcome, and please consider joining the family and hitting that subscribe button before you go. I will see y'all on the next video.